everybody, and welcome to the Solidity Insurance Group team call. My name is Marisa Maggio, and it is already June 12th of 2025. I'm super excited to be on with somebody today who literally, from when I knew what a veteran lead was in the insurance industry, his name was correlated with it. Above that, he always just puts his head down, goes to work, gets things done, doesn't complain, and shows up for himself, his family, and for his team. So we have Mike DeCecco on with us today. Mike, how are you doing?
Thank you for that intro. Sheesh, I'm doing great, guys.
Good
Hope
to hear
everybody's
it.
doing
Good to
good.
hear. And Mike, for those people out there that maybe they don't know you or they haven't had the chance to really hear much from you yet, tell us a little bit about your story, your background, kind of what got you into insurance, and why you chose to work with Family First Life.
Yep. I appreciate you for having me on. Thank you for being on the call the other day. I'm gonna probably grab a couple of your guys to come on our call on Tuesdays. Really what got me started. So you'll hear here that I'm very, very like raw and authentic and just very forward. I live in a world of recovery. So my sponsor owns a plumbing company and he has insurance, obviously, right, on his business. So he introduced me to the owner. It's a farmer's agency. It's actually across the street. Well, if anyone's been to headquarters or corporate in Uncasville, like 2 feet up the road, there's a farmer's agency in a Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, I actually know
So
exactly what you're talking about too.
yeah. Um, I started there. I got my PNC license, and this was probably like 2016. I had just gotten, clean, sober, good to go. I'm somebody who started something stupid very late in life. I lost a six-figure job. I lost custody of my sons. I lost pretty much everything. And insurance is truthfully what kind of changed everything for me. Now, that agency was a disaster. And also, when you put up like 60 policies in a month and make 3 grand, you're going to want to look for another job. And every time I would pass FFL, Sean would have like a new G Wagon sitting out there. And I'm like, this is just, I got to make something happen here. And he actually coached my son's baseball team. So I actually watched FFL. I remember the day he started it. Like literally, I remember the day he started it. It's crazy how big FFL has truthfully become in a short period of time. It's absolutely insane. But I'm from Connecticut. I have a hospitality background. I was head server, head bartender at Michael Jordan's Steakhouse at Mohegan Sun Casino for like 10 years, 12 years, until good old addict behavior knocked me right out of that place. But it's taught me a lot. I have a lot of perspective. I could literally care less about dollar amounts. I care about a roof. I care about food. I care about security. And I care that my kids and my family are good to go. And at this point, I've picked up a huge passion now for helping vets. We've got like a brand going at this point. So um, all I want to do at the end of the day is help give back. I have had to ask for food. I've had to ask for $5 to put on my Boost mobile phone. For all of you young kids, probably have no idea what Boost Mobile is, but um, when I was working at Farmers, I saw the opportunity of insurance. Now that was P&C when I got called by Andrew Taylor, and he was like, "Let's start an agency," and I'm like a brick and mortar, like what? I gotta buy signs and stuff. He's like, "No, no, no, let's start an agency." He actually had lost me on that call like very quickly because I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I didn't know that what an agency at FFL looked like essentially. Second time around, I just walked in and sat with Sean, and he put me with Matt Walker, Jr., and here I am 4 years later.
Hey, I love to hear it. And, shout out to you for, being able to, sustain that sobriety and make that choice and realize and, recognize and be here and have that different perspective and caring about things that, matter more, so to say. I just applaud you, Mike, for your story. It doesn't sound like you had an easy, background, so to say, but you've worked your butt off to get where you are today, and I love to see it. I love how you
Thank you.
talked about FFL and farmers being right there because I can envision it like I just 'cause from being in Uncasville. It's literally right there. So it's like you had to drive by it no matter basically which place you were going.
Yep.
And I love how you talked about how you saw the opportunity. Like you knew it was bigger than what you were in that moment. You were just like, okay, I got to make moves. And even just being humble enough, Mike, to be like, Andrew Taylor called me and was like, let's start an agency. And I was like, no, like, cause I just didn't, it didn't, you don't know what you don't know. Right. And that's kind of the beauty of this industry. It's the beauty and it's the beast. But with that being said, guys, Mike is somebody who has hit Hall of Fame multiple different times. He writes at a very high level. Like he said, he basically like literally introduced the veteran lead, helps veterans literally 6 days a week, and is getting it done. So with that being said, I just want to hit quickly, Mike, on, like how important is it following a schedule? Like, do you follow your schedule to a T? Has there been times that you kind of drifted from it? If so, what did that look like? And, like, what is that? Why is it important for you?
It's a perfect time to ask me this question because I have a newborn in the household. So, um,
Congratulations.
thank you. When I first started at FFL, it took me about a year to actually, our in-home schedule was all over the place. When I went to telesales in FFL, it took me about 9 months to a year to lock in a controlled schedule. And when I say controlled, basically having time with my family blocked off, having time for myself blocked off, having work blocked off, NA meeting, whatever it was blocked off, and I followed it. Right now, all of us can sit here and make a pretty schedule, and all of us can feel good about our routine, this, that, whatever, and then wake up the next day and literally do none of it. None of it. So I stuck with it for a year. That was the first year I hit Hall of Fame. Right. So I'm like, and I remember Matt Chilleri always would tell me, you're gonna feel it when you actually have control over your schedule. Like you're gonna like know because you're calm. Like you're not frantic. You're not, oh my God, I gotta be here. Oh my God, this is happening. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. But I always just remember him saying that, and I remember feeling it. Like at my son's baseball practice one time, I was like, "Holy crap! I sold 7 grand before I got here, and I got like 8 appointments when I get home. I'm at practice. We're going to dinner. I'm like, this is what it's like." So fast forward to now, I am basically I'm dying right now because it's so important to have a routine and schedule, and mine is totally thrown off at this point. I have my hat in a million different, places right now, and we just had a newborn. It was funny so my daughter was born premature by 2 months. She was 3 pounds when she was born. The day my fiance left for work, I was like, I've never been so overwhelmed in my entire life. And then 4:30 in the afternoon, I get a call. I think I'm in labor. So that's just how life goes, right? So it is what it is. And this is where recovery and the dark side of life that I kind of went through helps me because if I'm not venturing over to that side, like I'm perfectly fine with whatever is happening. So it allows me to kind of stay calm and neutral in these situations. Um, but right now, my son just finished freshman year. Now he's got Legion baseball. It's just like there's always something. There's 4 boys and a girl here, and then my fiance and her mom lives here. She's our nanny. Um, I've gotten the first half of my day locked in. The back half right now is what I'm struggling with. And it's vital to keep a schedule and to stay on it. And I can tell you that if you do it for 3 months, you'll see a difference. If you hit 6 months, you'll see a difference. If you make it a year, you're never going to want to change it. And I'm like begging and pleading with my fiance to just like sit with me and just knock out a routine and let's just stick to it because it's that important. It's
Absolutely.
important to everybody because it keeps you sane.
Really does. And I love how, you go back to, what Matt had said to you kind of towards the beginning. When you're gonna feel it, like you're gonna feel like you're in control. And I can really relate to that because again, I've been on both sides of the scope. I've been all over the place and I've been schedule set. I'm doing what I need to do. It's like, guys, when things are set in stone, it's like you know what's going to happen. I love how you talk about being at your son's baseball game and being like, "Hey, I already wrote 7K. I got 8 appointments when I get home." Like, no big deal. This is what the schedule says to do, right? Obviously, you just had a baby, which is awesome. Congratulations. I can imagine that that throws things off a bit in the household, which makes sense to me. So, thank you for being humble enough to be able to be like, hey, like I just had a baby. Things are not exactly schedule wise how I prefer them to be. I'm going to get them back there. But also, like, my fiance has to be a part of that, right? So, guys, it's like anyone you're doing day to day life with, like, they should be a part of building out your schedule so that they understand where you're at, right? So, Mike, I love that. And I love how you talked about the first time that you did follow that schedule for, 9 months, a year, you hit Hall of Fame. And I always say, like, in this business, if you are willing to be coachable, you actually show up and do your schedule, and like you just do what you're supposed to do, by nature's default, you'll hit Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not saying like everyone is going to do that, but what I'm saying is it's almost like if you show up and do the work and do what you say, like you're going to hit that number. It's just about how often can we do it and are we doing it, right? So, guys, like I know there's times I've been on and I've been off, and I think, Mike just gave a great way to relate, but it's like he's like we need to sit down together and get this done. It's important. Like it's vital. It's now. But with that being said, guys, y'all know I always ask about schedule because the thing is everybody wants, typically, everybody wants to get on here, Mike, and they're like, my schedule looks like this, and I'm perfect, and I wake up every day at the same time, and this is what my morning routine, and I've never, ever, ever deviated from it. And you're like, hey, dude, I've deviated from it, but like I'm gonna fix it, right? Like I'm with you there, Mike. Like we all make mistakes. So guys, if
Yeah.
you deviated from your schedule, just get that thing back in control. You're in control of that. But you got to realize you are. Don't make it like anybody else's fault. It's your fault. Like I love you, it's your fault just like it's my fault. Now transitioning right over to vet leads. Predominantly within the group, a lot of the team we're always starting on vet leads. And guys, when I say, Mike is like the OG of vet leads. I mean, like, I don't think if somebody had like a gun to my head and was like, you have to pick the best person that you ever know that can resonate with the vet, talk to a vet, and help a vet with life insurance, like it would be Mike, like period. And just like I'm not second thinking it. Now, talk to us a little bit about why this became like really like almost like why it's instilled into you that like this is an important lead. Everybody's important, but this is an important lead and it is somebody that deserves the help and the care that, we're providing. Talk to us a little bit about that, Mike. Like the psychology behind the lead for you.
So veterans are underserved and underappreciated. They deserve a different standard, essentially, right? So you have a man or a woman on the phone with you who wrote a blank check to protect strangers. And in the life insurance market right now, it's almost like a hassle to protect your own family. And a lot of these people settle for the garbage flyer or the 995 moron, and they're in the wrong plan. Now their family's going to suffer if they die. And when VA Life was launched, and I've got a lot of content on this, um, that basically gave Matt, Aaron, and I like the blueprint, essentially. So when VA Life came out and we compared all the rates, it's like it's part of my outline now. There's no call where I don't compare 10K of VA Life, 10K private market. And I don't even care if we're looking at IULs. I don't care what we're looking at because I want the veteran to see what their own VA is giving them for rates, and that I'm going to give them better rates, and you don't have to wait 2 years for it. So the mentality is, first off, I've actually gone back and forth with a new agent and vets, and here's why. If you can sell to vets or you can protect veterans' families, that's like learning how to ski or snowboard in the Northeast. I don't know if anyone would resonate with that, but like it's icy. Like the conditions are super dicey out here. If you go out west, it's nice and easy for us. So what I mean by that is these guys do not want a script, a pitch. They want the facts and they want to know what is best. And that's it. It's that simple. It's so flooded at this point that now we're starting to see one, people are trying to impersonate our group, which is flattering and a pain in the rear end at the same time. So we have a 3-digit code now on our form that they put in, and then we have to read it back to them when we get on the phone so that they know it's us. Which they actually love, by the way. Because so what's going on right now is sales fatigue. And what I mean by that is every person we talk to is sick and tired of endless phone calls, bogus quotes, and pushy agents. I literally, in the beginning of my call, say I could care less about selling life insurance. I literally say that to the vet. And that's like crazy if you think about it. But all I care about is that they know right from wrong, right? And that if they are going to pull the trigger on a policy for their family, they know what the right coverage is. And my team and I, like, our persistency is so high, and I kind of patented a close, and I'll give it to you guys a little later. The before you say yes close. This has changed my team's persistency, close ratio, everything. And all it is with a veteran, guys, is just being super straightforward. But for the new agent, like, you almost want them to cut their teeth on just like random FEX like mailers or something, because there's no saving a vet. Like if you bobble, right? Like it's cut off. It's done. See you later. And you know, again, I go back and forth with it. Do our agents dial like my old leads and older vet leads? Absolutely. Just getting at bats is the key here, no matter what they're dialing. But if they're going to try to, like, if they're going to come out of pocket and buy a decent chunk of leads, usually I try to go regular FEX first and then let them into the vet realm, because you have to know, you've got to learn. If you guys are selling to vets right now and you don't know what VA Life is or VGLI or SGLI or any of these coverages, if you don't know those coverages through and through, and like you think Agent Orange is like a Netflix special, you're not going to be able to sell to vets. Like you just like you
Right.
have to speak their language essentially.
Yeah, for sure. I want to just pause you real quick. So, in terms of, I love how you talk about when I get on the phone with a veteran, like I'm gonna show them before I pitch them, I'm gonna compare VA life at 10K and versus the private sector at 10K or whatever you're quoting them at, right? And how you also said I could care less about selling you life insurance. What that's
Hmm.
gonna really show to the client and like to the veteran, to the client, to anybody is like I'm trying to just educate you simply on like,
That's
hey,
it.
this is what they're providing for our group or group of people, so to say. Doesn't mean I agree with it, doesn't mean you should either, but like this is
Correct.
what we're looking at there versus what we're looking at here. Let me educate you so if you do decide to get the insurance, like you're getting the insurance that's actually best for your family, not just because it has a name on it, so to say. Right? So
That's it.
going through that like sales process, there's some always some things I feel like in every script that like in every appointment that we want to say, and there's other things that we obviously don't want to say. Now I know, like, for example, in a mortgage appointment, I'm always asking income. I'm like, what's your monthly income, John? It's 5 grand. Okay. And Mary, yours is 5 grand. Okay, so we have a 50-50 household income. So like if something happens, we're losing about 50% of the income. Is that right? Like things like that. Like, what are some of the core principles that you are sure to point out in a veteran presentation?
You have to debunk the competition. Like you have to put yourself where they're at. If they wake up one day and they're like, maybe their brother died or whatever, and everybody's scrambling for, money, and they decide to venture into typing into Google, I'm a veteran and I need life insurance. Um, a lot of junk pops up. So while you have to know your VA coverages, you have to know every last one of the guaranteed acceptance or increasing term coverages out there. AARP, Globe Life, AAA, Gerber, Colonial Penn, blah 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 blah. So part basically what you said about education, right? So Timeless is little motto is educate, advocate, serve. We strictly sell off education. Period. And that's just how these people basically appreciate the fact that you're telling them this stuff. I hear every day, you're the first person to, and it's like, why are people botching this call? They just need help. And like a lot of vets who are 100% disabled, they are 99% of the income. And I say that to them. Generally, my guys that are at 100% shoulder pretty much all the bills. Is that you? Yes. So they think because they're 100% disabled, they're screwed. In reality, it could be wear and tear and, a TBI, which to a insurance carrier is nothing. So, um, you just have to, again, I think the one core principle is educate. I have a 20-minute like outline. It's not a script. And when we have agents come in, the typical agent who's going to come in, they're going to listen, they're going to shake their head just to shake their head. Then they're going to get on the call and they're going to let their ego and pride kick in and they're giving them numbers 45 seconds into the call, right? So, done and over with. I had a guy who I was just like, dude, can you please just follow the outline? And he followed the outline. And it was like a 336 a month living promise. He was like crapping his pants the entire time because he was freaked out. I was sitting there with him. But afterwards, he was like, I thought by looking at this outline, this call was going to take like 2 hours. It was 44 minutes. And I'm like, you get it now? Yes. Okay, well, stick to it, please. Like, stick to it. Um, core principle is stick to our 20-minute. It's not 20 minutes, but the outline, the steps. It's my version of the straight line theory when it comes to a vet lead, essentially. So, but you've got to debunk all the VA coverages. You've got to debunk burial benefits. You've got to how many guys running vets have you heard, oh, I'm retired Air Force. They're going to pay for my funeral. No, they're not, dude. No, they're not. Right. So they're going to kick in a couple bucks. It's more of a swift kick in the groin. That's literally what I say. And they're like, and they always agree. They're like, yep, that is totally. Um, and that's pretty much it. It's filling them in on all the stuff that they're wondering and they don't want to make a million calls for. And then also, social media is full of misleading ads. Now, anybody can run ads. Creative can be creative. Whatever anyone wants to do is fine. I don't put cost and coverage in my ads. Why? Because I have no idea who the heck I'm even talking to. So I don't want anyone getting on my call thinking they're going to get $250,000 of coverage for 43 bucks a month. I just don't want it. And this is where retention comes in. This is where intent comes in from the questions we ask on our forms to the video I made for our ad. Everything has intent. We have some leads. Like I have a message. I got a message this morning in the appointment. The guy was like, watched video. I have 75K of this. It's this cost. Can you please beat it? So like, that's not normal.
No.
That's not normal, right? So usually we're fighting just to say hello to these people. So by educating and debunking all the stuff, like that's the main thing. that we do. Because at that point, it's easy. It's health numbers. We decide what's best. If they want it, we go for the before you say yes close.
I love that because when you start with education, right, it's like now you're helping them understand. So it's not
Mm,
necessarily like, oh, I'm trying to sell you insurance. It's like, first, I'm trying to help you understand. Second, I'm trying to help you assess if you need the insurance, right? At that point, we pretty much already know. And biggest thing I'm kind of hearing from the beginning is you broke down a ton of trust barriers. It's probably very rare, if ever, at this
that's it.
point, that you get a social or a bank objection because they
Oh
trust you
no,
once you get there.
wait till the close. I don't ever get those objections. So it's already broken down for the most part, but after the close, it's fully broken down.
So, talk to us a little bit about, let's just say you have an agent that isn't as seasoned as you in vet, but they're doing well, they're doing the best they can. What do you think's the biggest thing that attributes to like a social or a bank objection?
Um, credibility,
Right, right. Like, or they don't trust you, right? Because
credibility and
credibility, I
trust.
know.
I mean, if they're not going to give it to you, they simply don't trust you. It's not because they don't want the coverage. They want the coverage. And, I always think, we've got a couple really, really good producers on our team. And I always think that they're calling the veteran after I call them. So you guys should all think that Marissa's calling your vet after you, which means like she's gonna mop it up if you don't, for sure. Right. So um it's all trust. It's all like we've got a ton of 5-star Google reviews. We have video testimonials with veterans. Like, I have a video testimonial with a couple. They wanted 50K of permanent coverage and everybody had declined the guy. When you get on the phone with somebody, whether it's a vet or anybody else, and they're like, I've been declined, I've been declined, I've been declined, it's because they're shopping for term coverage. I'm not opposed to any coverage. I go where the situation screams and tells me to go. But 1% of term policies pay out. The biggest mistake a consumer is going to make is shopping the most for the least. That's what we do for anything. But in the world of life insurance, that's a term policy. Great in certain scenarios, but if you're trying to leave your wife money, not so much, right? So maybe to tack on, maybe if it's dirt cheap enough, okay. But if you're 71 years old, 68 years old, it's dicey. A carrier is never going to approve a term policy unless they're 99% sure you're outliving it or getting priced out of it. And that's just how it works. So, um,
So I love that. So you just kind of, you're like, it's like if you're bumping into that, you're just killing term. You're like, 1% of those pay out. Like, let's just be real. Again, let's
again,
educate here, right? Like,
yeah, again, I literally say what I just said to you guys. Like, I'm not opposed to anything, but you're telling me you need burial coverage. Why are you asking for it? Like, doesn't make any sense, right? So,
right. So matching what they actually need and showing them like, hey, you might not need 250 grand on a 10-year term. That's probably
why?
not going to pay out. Yeah. Like,
Why? I'm
I'm
how'd you get to that
disserving you.
number? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Love that. Now you talked a little bit about the close, and I think that this is really important because it's one thing to close a deal, help a family, whether that's a vet, a civilian, it doesn't matter. You're helping a family, right? At the end of that, biggest thing for me and challenges I bumped into early on when I started writing at a high level, Mike, was my persistency wasn't always great. It wasn't always, a 90% like it is today. Now, with that being said, what are some of the things that you do? Because I love how you were like, you want to think like I'm gonna call your lead after you get off the phone with them. AKA, I have an at bat with your client. And if I'm able to get at bat and get in there, like Mike is highly likely to sell that family, okay? So we want to make sure that we're closing and we're reserving our business to make sure that truly is our client for life. So talk to us a little bit about what that looks like after you close or while you're closing.
Hang on 2 seconds. Discord's in my ear. All right.
Got it, no
So
worries.
I think one of the biggest things, like when it comes to closing and retention, people want to rush through these calls. Like, you have to take pride in your underwriting, especially with vets. If you guys are getting into vet leads and you think everyone's going to be healthy, you're out of your mind. These guys are really jammed up. They've gone through hell. And if you know that you put the best policy in place just based off that, who's going to replace it? Who's going to come in with a better cost? Who's going to come in with a better coverage? So even if they don't like you, no one's going to give you a better deal, right? So um a lot of guys or people just like to dive right into the IUL, right?
Yeah.
I think I basically frame it as a bonus. When you do the comparison of VA life to day one coverage and you tell them based off your health, which dictates day one coverage, who I don't want you to ever look at is all the competition, AARP, Globe Electric. Like, your health dictates much better coverage than these carriers. I know they sound juicy. I know they sound good. They're not. What we have to figure out is if there's anything better than day one whole life. Because if you don't talk up day one whole life and you have to pivot back to it, you're done. You're not, like, you shot yourself in the foot. So, it's always like, sir, I'm 100% sure if everything you have said is on point, I'm gonna get you one of the top three or four carriers in the state. Um, but possibly, or we would be silly not to look at this Mutual of Omaha IUL, which is basically whole life on steroids. Just don't touch the cash value. And if you're going to get into IULs, guys, please know them and explain them to people. Please, 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 for the love of God.
Like that. So you're setting yourself up for success because sometimes we'll just jump in. We'll be like, oh, we think that, John qualifies for the IUL. We're just going to pitch it. We're going to tell them not to touch. I'm huge on that. Don't touch, tell it. They can't be messing with the cash values, guys. Like, if we're going to talk to about it like whole life. So I love how
Mhm.
you're saying, like, we would be silly not to try to see if we can get you this whole life plan on steroids. Because at that
Right.
point, essentially, you're just offering a better plan should they qualify. But if not, you don't have to backtrack and retrace your steps. And like, we're going
Yeah,
from 100
you're
grand to 20 grand.
you're good for day one whole life. That's a win in itself. You're in a very good place, my friend, but we've got to figure out right now if there's anything better. I don't want you sitting there wondering, can I get my wife more money when I die? So we're gonna exhaust those options and figure it out so you don't have to fill out any of these ads anymore.
Exhaust those options, guys. Like these are like nuggets. Like that whole sentence, nuggets, nuggets, nuggets. We're going to exhaust these options. There's no other options that the guy or the woman can go and get. Like, Mike's exhausting the options. He's making sure he's letting them know that. Okay. Love that.
And here's another persistency nugget. I screenshot. I go if you guys use toolkits and you
Yeah.
go to quick quoter, I think. They list all of them and they're small lines. They're not like the big ones, right? So I will screenshot that, drop it into Canva, and I will put an approved next to where they got approved and denied pretty much next to everybody else, even though they're not, but it's not the right coverage anyways. So that way, and it goes out with other stuff, but it's like, if they ever second guess this and someone calls them and they're like, oh, that guy was an idiot, I'll get you a Mutual of Omaha for, well, I already got declined Mutual of Omaha. So
I like that. So you're taking the outline and you're basically circling like the company they have, you're putting like a check mark next to, whomever. And then you're just Xing out the other ones. Love that. Visualized. I wouldn't be looking anywhere if I saw that. No,
right.
love that. Okay. So that's kind of the predominant ways you're keeping business on the books is basically through your conversation, through the education, and letting them know like what you're doing as you're doing it. Truly.
Send out a VA burial, like a survivor kit too. If you don't have a VA survivor kit, you can grab it on my website. But the website's weprotectveterans.com.
Guys, check
Click
that
on the
out
vet.
because there's a lot of good information on there.
Yeah, click on the vets tab. We have a new site being built. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's so sick. But I built that site in like 2 weeks. Why? Because vets want to know who they're talking to. Credibility. That's I like literally popped up. Thank God I went to art school, but like it looks halfway decent. But it's so jacked up. So now we're doing it right. But it served its purpose for sure. And it lets vets know. There's a caution box on the We Protect Vets page with all the garbage carriers in it. So, I call them the coffee table coverage or coffee table carriers, because that's what they are. But yeah, like a VA survivor kit, you can just tell them, hey, listen, I'm also sending you an email. It's going to have a VA survivor kit in it and a record of personal affairs, which is like a final wishes guide. Essentially, what this is, my friend, is every question your wife is going to need an answer to when you die. It's all going to be right here.
And Mike, how many people that you talk to, if you talk to 10 people and you're doing this with them, how many of them like really appreciate that?
Every last one of them.
Right? It's like if I'm getting life and it's like it only makes sense kind of that that would all come together, right? Like it makes sense that you would put a living will together when you get your life insurance. Like that makes sense. And going that extra mile and copying and pasting an email and sending it out to somebody can keep your persistency 10% higher, right? Like guys, that's 10% more income you're earning and 10% more families that you're helping keep in the best situation. So like go the extra mile. So weprotectveterans.com, guys, check it out. Like Mike said, he's allowing us to steal his VA survivor kit, on there. He's like, pull it off, go for it. Appreciate you for
Yeah,
that,
it's
Mike.
on the VA website, but the VA website's a maze. So that's why I send guys to our site. Like it breaks down like veterans life
Everything.
insurance to them. Yeah.
So guys, that alone is just a tool. So it's like jump in there. Like in another to Mike's point about, these caution carriers and carriers like the 995, right? Like all the companies, right? We hear about them like, well, I heard I can get, life insurance for $50,000 for 995 a month and I'm 82 years old. Okay, Mike's cautioned that. My whole point is if you don't know that information and you're just dialing and nobody can hear you guys because you're not unmuted, you don't want to unmute, you don't want anybody to hear you, you want to be a secret agent and you want to see success, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to learn individually about all these carriers and the waiting periods and why VA Life and America are two different companies. And it's like just unmute, allow the person who's helping you walk you through that, opportunity, so to say, and listen to them. Just say what they're saying. It's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, guys, but there's a reason behind everything that we're saying, right? So I love how you built up, you need to know the other companies. Like you need to know there's a waiting period. You need to know that our essentially what we can offer is typically 100% of the time better than what they're being offered, right? Like, so let's show up for them, but let's be able to educate them, not sell them. And that's the biggest thing I took away from this is educate, don't sell. And guys, every time I get on the phone or it used to be face to face and I went in there with the wanting and willingness to educate the person, typically I walked out, helped the family, put them in a better position, and I was able to make a sale for myself as well. It's a win-win-win. But when somebody doesn't feel educated and then Mike calls, it's like they're probably just going to move over with Mike, even if it's $5 more expensive, because he took the time to help them understand.
I just had
So
a lady write a policy with me that was $33 extra a month, but the agent was a scumbag and I explained everything to her. So now she's mine.
they're out there, right? Like, unfortunately, she's not the only one that's going through that right now, guys. So it's like, that's why we're like, get the policy. Like, guys, we don't want them to have to go do things they don't like have to do, but like, we need them to go get the policy, right? You can't go to the doctor and be like, or call the doctor's office and be like, I'm not sure what's going on. My stomach's in severe pain. But they're gonna be like, we need you to come in. Guys, we need to see the
Yeah.
policy. Like we need to know what they have, right? Like be able to diagnose the problem. Doctor patient mindset. If you can keep that education, right? When your doctor's telling you what's going on, if you have something going on health wise, they're explaining it to you, at least hopefully. If not, you probably don't like your doctor. I like my doctor because my doctor explains to me what's going on when things are happening. If not, it will leave me in a really scary place. Guys, it's the same thing. We're talking about the day that somebody dies. And you need to sometimes, like, you need to take a step back and embrace that. Like, this is not just any day. This is the day that somebody passes away and their loved one loses them. Did you do your job and show up? Right? It's like, because Mike is, okay? Just to kind of close it out, Mike, you've been killing it. It seems like you've been growing. You know, you have a growing group. You're killing it personally. You're killing it with veterans. You're literally building a brand for yourself. Just to kind of close the call out, I want to be respectful of your time. Tell us what your goals are wrapping up this year and whether that's business, personal, both, and why it's important to you.
Okay. You want the before you say yes close before that, or you want me to give you my
Act,
goals first?
yes, yes. I want you. No, yeah, let's do that first.
All right.
So guys, like if you don't
So
have a pen and paper, I'm confused. I just want you all to know that. But like right now would be the time to definitely get one if you don't have one. I
yeah,
love you
this has
guys.
changed a bunch of agents' bank accounts on my team for sure. So I am not one for iffy business. We've all written iffy business, right? Iffy business charges back. If you want to be on a hamster wheel of chargebacks, be my guest. It ain't going to be me. I can tell you that much. So when I don't do like the bronze, silver, gold. I literally tell them what I would do. This is exactly what I would do in this if I was in your shoes. Obviously, I know their income, I know their bills, I know like a way to keep insurance premiums down. Side note, if the average age of an adult American male is 77, and we're talking to a 50-year-old who wants to cover a $250,000 mortgage, you can explain to him, we can approach this situation maybe 15 years into the future. Like statistically, you're not going anywhere in time. What's your liability look like in 15 years? It's just another way to break the wall of I'm not here to jam a policy down your throat. And they respect that. And it actually makes sense. And I always tell them like we are trying to keep insurance premiums like as low as humanly possible here. Um, which to a commission hungry salesperson is going to sound absolutely nuts. But for someone who wants a solid policy on the books that's going to stick, it's what's up. So before you say yes, close, right? So let's say we have completely narrowed down the policy and the person's like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Let's do it. Okay. My friend, before you say yes, I want to explain to you what the process is going to look like if you want to bless me with the task of protecting your family, which it's always an honor and a privilege to do so. They're sold right there, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, this is the part of the call, and I appreciate you letting me guide you through this and educate you. This is the part where you and I have to build a whole lot of trust because the carrier is going to ask us, we're a team, the carrier is going to ask us for some pertinent info. Now, I'm not asking you for this, but I'm going to tell you what they're going to ask us for. They're going to ask us for everything off of your license. They're going to ask for your social. They're going to ask the first, last, and date of birth of your beneficiaries. And I'm going to ask you for a contingent or as many beneficiaries as you want to give me because we don't want this landing into probate. After that, we've got to set up your auto draft or EFT. Now, these are the numbers from the bottom of a check. I don't say this is your banking info. I don't say I need your account information. No, these are the numbers from the bottom of a check. You'll occasionally get like I don't use checks anymore. It's all right, bro. Pull it up in your app. And if you don't know, like Chat GPT will give you instructions for every banking app out there on how to find the account number. Um, once you go through that, are you good with that? Yes, I'm good with it. Go ahead and gather it up. Do you think we're running into an issue with the social or the banking at that part and point in time? No, never, ever, never, ever, ever.
You just
So,
completed the sale when you said that, and they said yes.
yep,
The sale is complete. They trust you. They know they're buying the insurance. They're ready to go.
yep,
That's
we're all on the
powerful.
same page. We're all good to go. Your wife's going to be protected. She's got 14 mortgage payments. She's got a cremate, whatever it is, right? So, it's just almost the same thing in the beginning of the call. Marissa, I'm going to break down what my team here does and why I started this company. Essentially, we're here to safeguard you guys through the process of shopping for your life insurance. The VA has new coverage out. There's misleading ads everywhere on social media and in the mail. You're someone who wrote a blank check for this country. You deserve proper guidance, transparency, and it's always an honor and a privilege to help you guys. What are you looking for coverage? Why did you fill my ad out?
Powerful. Powerful.
Yeah.
And how you start
Come
the
on.
appointment is typically how you end the appointment. You know what I mean?
Yep. 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 Yep.
And
So,
transparency the
oh,
whole time.
oh my God, man. I got hung up on you yesterday because I had a guy with, I think, COPD, CHF, and he had like a heart attack that morning. I don't know, but he like I can get 250K from the ad that I saw before yours. No, you can't, sir. I'm just trying to be like man to man, professional to client. You cannot get that coverage. And I don't mean to sound like rude, but like you can't. Click. So it's like, whatever. All good. See
It'll
you later. Bye
happen,
bye. Like,
right?
yeah,
But
I mean,
you're not lying. You know they don't qualify.
right. So at this point, goals, we
So I
started
just want to pause
generating.
you real quick before you hit on your
Yeah,
goals. I want to hit on a
yeah, yeah,
lot of
go
what
ahead.
you just said really quickly.
Yeah.
Guys, you might be like, well, that's not like what my script says. I want you to remember, like, when you're first getting started, we're gonna be like read the script because I love y'all. Like, I didn't know what I was talking about, like my first like year in the industry. Okay. Now you guys are most of you guys are a lot quicker learners than I am, so that's the good news. But guys, the reason we're having you follow the script is because it's a guideline that's gonna help you get to the end. Now, as Mike's going through this, you might have been like, wow, I really like that. Like, I like how he said, you wrote a blank check for this country. So, like, I want to make sure that, you're in the best situation. Like, that's powerful. Add that in somewhere, right? Add it, like, we can add little nuggets. We can play with the script. But once you get good, you can make it your own. And you're going to be on a call like Mike is right now, starting with his intro, talking about this is how Mike, that's probably not how you always introed the call. Is that fair to say? It's like we
Every
learn
single
over
time.
time, guys. And how essentially when you're going through the close, how Mike's like, we're a team, basically. They, the insurance company, because like sometimes people will be like, so you'll be drafting my account? No, so the insurance company will be drafting your account, not me. I'm going to help you get the insurance set up. So viewing like you and your client as a team, letting them know exactly what to expect. Take these things, implement them. This has been so many nuggets. This is a call that needs to be listened back to like 1,000 times. Um, and ChatGPT will show you how to look up any account information. I love that because I've actually used that one time, Mike, and I never even thought about it after I used it like during a live call. Yes, guys, like if they're like, I can't find it, like yes, they can. They can find it, and you can help them find it if not. Now, yes, let's wrap up with your goals because I feel like it's going to be a huge year for you. I'm excited for you, and I'm just excited for where it looks like y'all are heading.
Um, so on stage last year, I said that I wanted to have 50 agents, like writing agents, right? So right now, I think I said this on my call. We're really, really, really struggling. We're hiring, but we're really struggling to like get people off the ground. So, which is why I said you and I need to have a sidebar conversation because I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I've talked to Trey, like I'm missing something. When that clicks, and it's going to at some point, um, you know, I want to, I have the best core. I would put my core like five up against any group of 20. Um, the persistency is all probably above 93. Everybody hit their bonus, all that good stuff. But at the same time, like these people get the most amazing reviews and you just want to work with them. We hire people we don't know. We hire a lot of people and how many people have come in here and they're like, I will crush this job. And then in like a week, they're like, yeah, I'm going back to my other job. I'm good, man. It's like this, like life insurance can chew people up and spit them out quick. Um, so I want to now find cores for my core, essentially. I want them to find their cores. I'm perfectly fine with 20 people doing 40K a month. Like those are big numbers, right? Like instead of 70 agents doing 5K or 8K or whatever, like I would rather have a serious group. It's, I think I've hired 20 people in the last 15 days. And over the last 45 days, I've probably hired like 100, maybe a little less, because we had like a mass hiring go on Zoom, but I've gotten like 3 people up and off. So like my goals this year or right now from here on out is to talk to the agents in this company who are growing and getting people off the ground, because the second that clicks for our group with like the leads we have and the things that we have going on, like Paz James Fazagli, he's my business partner. So like we have a lot of things that are looking amazing right now. And this morning I was like, I was praying this morning and I'm like, it's been a crazy like couple months. Can you just like tease me with like a little something, like show me a little something for my hard work? But we just need to grow as a group. We have to get people off the ground. I want to have 50 agents still at convention. We did almost a 250,000 with like 6 writers. So that's we can if we can repeat that, right? We can have a nice little tight group, and then we're just gonna find cores for everybody. That's it. Core groups for everybody.
Love that because it's not a you goal, right? Like it's a we goal. It's like you're like I have my core, I want them to find their cores and you know, to Mike's point, like everyone's like, he's like I hired maybe, 100 people the last 45, 60 days, whatever, like 3 have panned out. Guys, like that's normal. This is not an easy business. But like the people who follow instruction and take the coachability, like they're gonna win, right? So, and I love how you're saying like, hey, I, Mike, who have hit Hall of Fame multiple different times, my goal is to talk to other people whose groups are growing to see how we can get our group to grow. So, like, basically, what I'm hearing is like, my goal is to remain coachable. And I think that that's an amazing thing to be because a lot of us lose that in this industry. So, Mike, I applaud you. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that you'll have 50 people following you to convention, no doubt, because it just makes sense. And you're an amazing person, an amazing leader in this business. So I'm excited for you guys for what's to come. I love you, love your business partners. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate you being on with us today and taking the time out of your day as I know you didn't have to. So, Mike, thank you for everything you do. I'm rooting for you guys and thank you for being on.
Appreciate you guys big time. Means a lot. And it's the word, it's the W word, guys. It's willingness. Everything in life comes down to willingness. Are you willing to get out of bed early? Are you willing to work when you don't want to? Are you willing to listen? We have like 70-year-old ladies and guys in this company that write like $60 million a year. Like I kind of want to listen to those people. But if you're a 21-year-old kid, are you willing to listen to that person? Um, it's a crazy business, but you can't really look at age, gender, anything. You just look at the leaderboard. That's who you follow.
That's right. Love that.
So
Love that
thank
closing.
you.
I'm like, mic drop.